Hello guys and welcome to this video. Today we are going to examine a game played between Argentinian master Quinteros and the famous American grandmaster Robert James Fischer. The game was analyzed in great depth by famous Russian trainer Mark Dvoretsky in his book Analytical Manual in the chapter 5 under the title Irrational Complications. Since the game is immensely complicated, this video will be sort of a highlights video which will emphasize only key points in the game, and for those of you interested in the complete analysis and all the intricacies, I will post a link to my blog post where I have reproduced Dvoretsky's analysis, where you can see all the fine points, and it's really a long analysis. Okay. So let's take a look at the game. Quinteros is playing white and he opened with c4. Fischer answers with g6. We have knight c3, bishop g7, knight f3 and c5. And here, well, there are many ways white can play this, but Quinteros decides to go for the d4 advance immediately. After c takes, knight c6, now the knight is hanging. Once again, white can react in multiple ways, but here Quinteros decides to go knight c2. A typical maneuver, white is preparing to advance e4, knight e3, and then gain a firm control over the d5 square. And here Fischer takes a typical decision of this structure, although it is a risky one, and Fischer captures on c3. And after b takes c3, we see the point of the Fischer's idea, since this c3 and c4 pawns are constantly weak, they are doubled and isolated. And Black's idea is to play against these weaknesses and ultimately try to win these pawns. The only drawback is that Black has given his dark squared bishop, so his king will be constantly weak, and White will be trying to play for the attack all along. So yeah, definitely a risky decision, but strategically sound, and you can't win if you don't take some risks. So we have knight f6 by Fischer, f3 preparing to advance e4, d6, e4, and bishop e6. Perhaps Fischer could have castled here, because after bishop e6, white could have played bishop h6, preventing castling, and after say queen a5, queen d2 defending the c3 pawn, and this could have been slightly inconvenient for black. So probably castling was more precise than bishop e6, but as it is, bishop e6, white didn't play bishop h6, but he went bishop e2, and once again Fischer ignores castling, plays rook c8, eyeing these weak c pawns. Knight e3, defending c4 and preparing to jump on d5, queen a5 attacking c3, bishop d2 defending it, and now knight e5 attacking c4 pawn, queen b3 defending the pawn, and now we have knight d7. And here, if white tries to capture, obviously he can't capture on b7 because of rook b8 and the queen doesn't have anywhere to go. So white goes on, advances and makes an f4 move, attacking the knight. Here black has an intermediate move, knight c5, queen to c2, and now knight c6. After castles, queen a4, we see the standard idea in similar positions. Black tries to exchange queens, as in any sort of endgame he will be practically always better. So Quinteros decides to avoid the queen exchange logically and tries to play for some kind of attack. Knight f5, adding another attacker to the c4 pawn, and now e5, trying to open some lines and actually sacrificing the c4 pawn. And Fischer takes on e5 and now castles. It has to be said that Fischer could have captured on c4, but after knight takes c4, knight takes c4, bishop takes c4, rook f4 pinning the bishop, he would continue b5, and after take on b5, the take on c4, b takes c4, queen f1, Fischer would have a nice intermediate move, queen c2, threatening the bishop, removing the queen from the attack by the rook, and here black is better. He can hold on to the pawn. But okay, we can see here that Fischer tends towards practicality, and instead of capturing on c4, he simply castles and makes sure his king pieces are developed fully. Now rook e4 defending c4 pawn and preparing some attacking ideas. Knight d7, knight d5, rook e8 defending the e7 pawn, and now queen e4. And this is the critical moment of the game, and here Fischer played b5. There is some argument toward knight c6, which is the first choice by the any engine, but okay, the idea is to attack the e5 pawn, but okay, I guess Fischer either didn't see or underestimated the following sacrifice by white, which could have been very dangerous. And here Quinteros decides to enter a maelstrom of complications, and he plays rook takes f7, a fantastic sacrifice. Okay, so what can black do here? Well, if he takes with the bishop, then after e6, knight takes f6, knight takes, e takes f7, king takes f7. This is just a horrible position for black. Believe me, he's in very bad shape. His pieces are out of play, his king is weak, and white has a winning attack here. Okay, so taking with the bishop is impossible. Dvoretsky has analyzed knight c5 in length, and it might be the best move in the position. But okay, once again, I suggest you look at the Dvoretsky's analysis, because it's really very, very long. But in the game, Fischer took with the king, he took on f7. And here Quinteros played queen to h4, eyeing both h7 pawn and e7 pawn. Black probably best to play is king g7, defending h7, not allowing any checks. And here Quinteros took on e7. And here Dvoretsky once again arguments in length whether rook c4 is actually better than the move played in the game. I think it isn't. I think what Fischer did is the best. Fischer played queen c2, defending the g6 pawn in many variations. And here Quinteros practically lost the game in one move, as he played queen takes h6. The best move in the position, which would give white very serious chances and very terrible attack, would have been bishop h6. And after, say, king to h8, knight takes c8, queen takes c2, and now knight d6, black would have to find a very narrow way of reacting toward the queen e7 threat. Both the engine and Dvoretsky suggest that the counterintuitive rook g8, anticipating mating threat on g7, would be the best move in the position, and the idea is to meet queen e7 with queen e5 now. And yeah, well, that's white is still slightly better, but I think that analysis shows that white doesn't have anything forced. But yeah, as it is, Quinteros didn't find the best move. He played queen takes h6 after king h8. Now knight g6 is obviously impossible. Now rook c1. And here we can once again see the difference between objective evaluation and the practical play. There would be nothing wrong if Fischer retreated his queen, and then after bishop f3 he played queen d3, and the computer suggests Fischer is actually winning, but there is still chaos on the board, and it's always easy to overlook something in similar positions. Fischer has always aimed for clarity, so after rook c1 he decides to sacrifice his queen. He plays queen takes c1, bishop takes c1, and now rook takes x7. And well, actually, black has the material advantage here. He has two rooks and a piece for the queen. White still has these weak pawns. His bishops are not doing anything much, and actually black is close to winning here. After c takes b5, knight c4, we can see here how well black is now coordinated. This knight on c4 is monster. He doesn't have any weaknesses. Okay, white has many pawns, but they are all isolated and weak, and for all practical purposes black's game is won here, and Fischer displays beautiful technique here. We will follow the remainder of the game with only brief commentary. So we have queen h4 threatening on e7, rook f7, queen d4, king g8, an excellent move. And the point is that if white tries to capture on a7, you would get knight b6, threatening the queen, queen e6 and rook e8, and the queen is trapped. So yeah, it is always a bad sign when even these small tactics work for your opponent. So Quinteros played bishop f4, defending the e5 pawn, rook c5, renewing the threat to the e5 pawn, and once this pawn falls, well, it's an important pawn to say. Bishop f3, rook takes on b5, another pawn goes, h3, now takes on e5 as well. Okay, queen takes a7. Maybe black could have avoided giving up this pawn, but it is what it is. After bishop d5, bishop takes, rook takes, queen to e3, rook a5, queen to e2, and now rook to a8. Black's king is safe, the knight is covering all sorts of checks, and black will simply collect the queenside pawns, after which he will turn his attention to kingside. Quinteros played one more move, but after knight f7 he resigned because, well, he doesn't have any chances whatsoever in the long run, and here he decided that he's had enough. So yeah, this is one of the games from the Fischer's prime. Those who know me know that I'm kind of Fischer hater, and actually many people claim he played like a machine, but actually he didn't, as had Quinteros found this dangerous bishop h6, Fischer would have some serious problems to solve. But yeah, as it is, at the time nobody could outcalculate him or dare to go into such calculations, so occasionally Fischer got away with similar things. So yeah, that's all for this video. Once again, I suggest you really check the whole analysis by Dvoretsky. It's extremely instructive, and yeah, well, it made me realize how far from real chess mastery I am. And that's all for today. Thank you for watching this, and see you soon. Bye.